everyone, welcome back to my new Model Barmy channel and part 6 of my N-Gage micro layout, a tribute to the film The Cruel Sea. So in the last episode I raised concerns about the fact that the front of the Corvette wasn't particularly well lit if I was going to be in an exhibition hall where the lighting was quite dim. So I've now installed a light bar which will just sit at the front of the canopy, which I'll probably put a do not touch sign on the front of this, because I'm sure, like many of you that exhibit, we have the perennial problem, or should I say parental problem, of the youngsters wanting to look with their fingers. So I always pack a bit of super glue and a bottle of PVA just to do any running repairs where things have been poked off various layouts. I had toyed with the idea of buying one of those rubber hands from a joke shop, cutting the fingers off and making a necklace out of them to wear around my neck at exhibitions, but my co-exhibitor Mark suggested that that was probably largely inappropriate, but there we go. So I think that works quite well. It lights the Corvette nicely from the front. So as you can see, with the rest of the layout, all the buildings are now painted. I've unmasked all the windows, so the next laborious task, I guess, will be to put all those windows in, glaze them, and of course now the weathering starts. So that will probably be the next step. Right, I've weathered the buildings. So as you can see, I've now installed the windows and doors and glazed them. I've also sorted out all the guttering and downpipes, so all those sort of little extra bits that add to it. So I'll just take you round the I've added the gates there, you can see, and that one I've just got to touch in the down the bottom there. I'm going to put some of that dark grey paint so that you can't see it. So the back building, sorted out the gully outlets and downpipes, so that's all done. All those windows are glazed as well. So come round to this side, so I'll put the doors and windows in the CO's residence. Installed the platform for the Oerlikon, the anti-aircraft gun. So that's that one, and the two buildings at the front, so they're now glazed, the windows and doors in. I've also put these sort of jibs on as well, which will have a chain running down, which will probably be tied back just above those doors. So I think the next job, let's see if I can pan back a bit, there we go. The next job, I think, is to try and make the actual ground a little less uniform, because it's all sort of one colour at the moment, although I have pre-shaded areas of it to sort of break it up a bit. I think it needs breaking up a bit further, so I might put some cobblestones around and about and just try and differentiate some areas that might have a different texture, so like a concrete raft or something like that. So I think that's the next job. Right, what I've done now is I've masked off areas that I'm going to create some cobblestones. So these are for my sort of memorials that I've built, my Great War memorials, and there's one there for the figurehead that I'm making, and this is going to be for the flag staff platform, so that will be in front of the CO's residence. So I'm going to now use my usual technique of impressing the cobblestones into the surface, because of course this is all foam board, so I can actually do that. I can create cobblestones straight into the surface, so I'm going to do that next. Right, I've done my usual and I've gone forging ahead without actually filming what I've been doing. Sorry, but once I get the bit between my teeth, I just want to keep going for it. So I've done the cobblestones, painted those as you've just seen, and that's that bit there. I've also weathered the surface of the layout slightly. So it was looking a little bit too one colour, so all this will make a bit more sense once I've put the buildings back on. I've also gone along the seawall, so that's had some weathering and a coat of seaweed. So I've got some bits and pieces, ladders and stuff to put on there yet. I've also got to sort out some fenders, I think. The backboard is now glued down, so I've now committed to the fact, controversially, that I'm not going to paint a back seam. I'm just going to leave it as this white. When the canopy's on and it's lit, it kind of looks like one of those bleak days when the sky just looks all grey. And God knows we've seen enough of those lately. So I thought I'm just going to leave it like that so it doesn't detract from the foreground and the actual diorama itself. So I think what I'm going to start doing now is gluing some of the buildings in position that I'm not going to be working on. So that'll probably be the next step, I think. Just before I start gluing the buildings to the back, I thought I'd just give you a close-up of the clock tower. So I literally printed off some clock faces from the internet and printed them, and then I made some clock hands out of little bits of photo etch. So these are actually window frame components which I've just chopped to make the actual hands for the dial. So yeah, that was fun because they really are tiny. Let me just put my finger in there so you can see. So yeah, so let's get gluing. Right, I'm switching to stills for this next bit because with the detail being smaller, it's easier to make it clearer. So I've glued down the back building and the memorials. As you can see, I found some bits of brass plate which work well. And there's the figurehead. Now I've got a problem at the back there where the building doesn't quite touch the ground, so I had to be millimetre perfect across the back of this, where all the buildings join together and meet the edges of the backboard. So it's one of my pet hates, not being able to get a building looking like it's anchored properly to the ground. So I think what I'm going to do at the back there is I'm actually going to create a bike rack, because I'm sure with the amount of personnel working in that building, there will be a fair few bicycles. So I've got some bikes on order at the moment, and I'll scratch build the rack to sort that bit out. So the two Oerlikon gun emplacements are now complete, together with their associated sandbags. So yeah, happy with the way that they've turned out, and they've been weathered as well. So the front buildings are now glued down, and as you can see, I've added some packing cases and oil drums just to complete the details along the front there. I've also installed the storage tanks and put some sandbags around them as well, because I got rid of the wall as mentioned in one of the previous videos. So the vehicles on the layout are all Oxford die-cast vehicles. The only thing with these is the shininess as they come out the box is too shiny for the scale. So I've given these a little bit of weathering, and I've also then given them a coat of Tamiya matte varnish just to tone them down a bit. It makes them look a little less toy-like, I think, anyway. The lamps in the picture there are scratch built, non-functioning because it's a daylight diorama. They're bits of wire, some little plasticard circles that I cut out, and some clear sprue just to make the bulbs and lenses. So I'm going to leave this episode there with a couple more shots of the general arrangement. As always, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed the progress on this project, and I'll look forward to catching you on the next one. So take care, everyone. See you again soon. Cheers.